In this video, we're going to talk about why it's so hard to find friends right now in church. And I promise you, you're not alone. 8 out of 10 church members complain of the inability to find friends, and a lot more people that don't join the church or leave church say the same thing. So what's going on? Well, if this has happened to you, I want to apologize because, well, church is one place where so many people hope that they can fit in. And it's very hard when that doesn't work out. And we're going to talk about why and also what we can do about it. Here at Smarter Church, we try to find solutions and we look for answers. And we have a lot of answers, which is what we try to focus on in our videos. So what's going on? Well, first of all, a lot of pastors and a lot of Christians, they're great people. The problem is the church just isn't the best at relationships like we used to be. And in the 90s, something happened in the church where you may have heard about Pastor Rick Warren, the purpose-driven church, the contemporary church model, John Maxwell's leadership series, Bill Hybels. This all started kind of the contemporary church movement. They solved a lot of problems, but they also created some new ones that still haven't really been addressed. And one of these problems is relationships. The contemporary church model operates on what we would call like a funnel principle, which is everyone can join, but it works with the expectation that only 2 out of 10 people that visit are going to join. And then once they join the church, as a pastor, well, you can only expect about 2 out of 10 to really do most of the work, give most of the money. So it doesn't just become an expectation, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so you end up with the churches that have usually a close core that feels connected, and the rest of the church is sort of a revolving door that really can't connect or find friends, no matter how hard they try. And it's very difficult for many people. So when this core dynamic happens, what happens with these people that are connected is they get their feedback from each other. So the pastors are going to talk to the staff, and the staff are going to talk to the core members, and they're going to ask, how are your relationships? How was it when you joined? Was it easy to get connected? And the answer a lot of times is, hey, this church is great. I have all my friend needs met. We're close as we could be, but they're sort of asking each other and not really gathering feedback from the people that really can't fit in. And this creates a big problem. And I know a guy named Kyle, I'll tell you about his story. He was a Marine pilot with the Marine Corps years ago. And he talked to me, and Kyle said, hey, I was in the Marines, I was successful, but I just can't seem to find friends in church. But when I was in the Marine Corps, I had the best friends of my whole life. Well, maybe you've been in the military. Maybe you know someone that's in the military or a family member. So often when I talk to people that are in the military, the best friends of their whole life were from that time when they were in the military. Well, that's because the military is a friend-making machine. It doesn't happen by accident. People might say, well, you go in the military, there's a lot of stress, you're working together, that's what forms the friendships. But it is much more intentional than that. And I'll tell you a little bit more about Kyle. He was a helicopter pilot, but as an officer, he also had to take care of everyone that was under his command. In his case, it was, I believe, the people that were helping to maintain the helicopter and the hangar and some men in the parts. And he was getting frustrated because he would help the men when they came onto base, and he would help them integrate into the group, and he would provide support. He would provide counseling. He would listen to them when they had difficulties. He would help prevent problems. He would maintain morale. He would resolve conflicts if problems happened. He would help the men with the problems. And one day Kyle was sort of frustrated, and he went to his commander and said, look, I have to focus so much on taking care of these men that it takes away from my focus and my attention on being a really good helicopter pilot, and that was stressful in itself. And the commander said something that was very interesting. The commander said, listen, we let you fly our helicopters because you take care of our men. The job of a Marine officer is to take care of the men. And every military officer that I know of goes through an initiation training on group theory, and it's continual throughout their career. Group dynamics, helping people get connected, helping people be motivated, putting people in the right roles, taking care of that group so that the group flourishes. I remember I grew up in the military, and when my dad was transferred to a particular base, people would be assigned to you and help you to fit into the group because they know if everyone's coming on these bases in different areas and it's not facilitated, it's not going to happen by accident. So the military is a friend making machine, and group dynamics is so important. But guess what? When pastors go to Bible college, when pastors go to seminary, you know, I was in ministry, and when I went to seminary, you learn the Bible, you learn Greek, you learn Hebrew, but you really don't learn management. You don't learn group dynamics. You don't learn a lot of things that are really needed to help people build relationships. So I feel like a lot of pastors end up sort of like Kyle, where they like to teach, they like to evangelize, they like outreach, but then they get overwhelmed because they think, boy, working with the dynamics of the people is just so difficult. But one reason that it is so difficult is because so many of them haven't had the training and it's overwhelming. So the same predictable problems happen over and over again. And the church is getting to a place now where we can't ignore it anymore because so many people have stopped attending, and this is creating a problem for church, and it's creating a problem for the country. So uh, as a summary, if you feel like you've been left out and you're not connecting, again, I'm sorry that has happened to you because that's very difficult. But as Christians, we have to work to try to make things better. We have to make things improve so that others don't continue to experience this pain and rejection. And we can work together because there are solutions out there. And that is what we'll be talking about regularly here on Smarter Church, is solutions. And one is that our leaders, our pastors, those who are going to be starting churches, those who are in positions where they work with curriculum at the colleges, as Christians, we have to be helping them, letting them know we have to learn how to do groups better, because especially now and in the future, relationships are so important for the health of Christian families and the Christian society.